always that one trope. That trope that you're like, I freaking love this. If you tell me that it's gonna be in a book, like I'm probably gonna buy it and absolutely love it. And for me, one of those tropes that like makes a book an auto buy is the mentor trope. If there is like an older mentor character trying to pass on their knowledge to the younger generation, like I'm sucked in, I'm a sucker. Especially if that mentor is kind of like aloof and hapless, like at least seeming like they're aloof and hapless, like that brings it up a notch. And I don't know what it is about the mentor trope, but I absolutely freaking love it. And all of these books that I'm going to talk about today have that mentor trope, that like old wise wizard trope. You know what I'm talking about? So I have 7 books that I am going to recommend to you today that have this like old wise mentor wizard type trope, and hopefully you like these because I do. Alright, so the first book I want to talk about is Scythe by Neil Shusterman. This is set in a utopian world where we have overcome death and no one dies of natural causes anymore. The only issue is overpopulation. So there are these people that are called scythes, and they are kind of assigned to cull the population as necessary. They have to, what they call, glean a certain amount of people every year, and it's like a really prestigious position in this society. And our 2 main characters that we are following are apprentice Scythe. So obviously this has a mentor-mentee kind of dynamic in the story. We follow our 2 main characters, Rowan and Citra, and how they are like learning from their mentor. And there's actually like multiple mentors in this book and in this series, which I absolutely love because we get to see different ways that different scythes teach scythes how to be scythes. How many times can I say scythe in like one sentence? But it's really cool. I really like the relationship between the mentor and the apprentices in this book. And it also shows kind of like a bad mentor and then like a desirable one. So that's a really cool dynamic. I think they have it play in this book. And can it even be a video where we talk about a mentor, old wizard trope and not mention Lord of the Rings? I think not. I feel like Gandalf is one of the like the OG when it comes to a mentor like old wizard. Like I feel like he is the original of this trope, at least from what I know. So I couldn't not include it. It has been years since I have read this book. Probably high school. As you can see, I have the movie bind up that I got back in high school. I was young. When did this particular one came out? It's so old. Not like super old, but like, yeah. I got this book back in high school and it's the bind up of all 3. And I really have been wanting to reread it because I think I read this at a time where I wasn't fully grasping it. Like early high school. I'm talking like 14 years old. And I just don't think that my brain was ready to read Tolkien at that time. And then I just never actually read all 3 books. I only read, I think, the very first one, the Fellowship. But I never read the rest of them. I loved the movies when they came out, and I watched those. But I just think that I wasn't quite ready to read this yet. But now I am, and I'm excited, and I'm going to, reread it, pick it back up. The next book is another one that should come as no surprise, and that is Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. This is another one that is very heavily based on Lord of the Rings. So, of course, they have a Gandalf character, a old wizard mentor that's helping the farm boys on their journey. And that is Moraine Aes Sedai. She is amazing. One of my favorite characters. I absolutely love her. I've only read the first 2 books, so I can't judge past that, but I absolutely love her in the first 2 books. But this definitely has a really cool mentor-mentee relationship in it. It is a quest, a very traveling story, real classic fantasy. And it's one that I'm excited to read more of this series, like this coming year. The next one that I want to talk about is Rage of Dragons by Evan Winters. Now, this is not my favorite book. I gave this like a 3 stars. It's good. It's okay. But one thing that I really did like about it was that mentor-mentee aspect of the book where like Tao and his regiment are training and there's a lot of training. But I really love the relationship with, I believe his name is Jayed, and him and his way of training these commoners, basically, to be warriors. And it's really well done in that aspect. I liked that part of this story. Like I said, this book, not my favorite. It's not for everyone. I know some people that absolutely love this book, and some people that absolutely hated it. And I kind of fall firmly in that meh camp where like I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. But it was just like meh. So like I will read the second book and hopefully enjoy it more than meh. But this is a really loved book. It does have that mentor trope in it. So I will go ahead and recommend you pick this up if you think it's something that you would like. The next one that has a really good mentor trope, probably my favorite out of like all of these, and that is the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin. And we are following 3 main perspectives in this, and in one of the 3 perspectives we have that mentor-mentee relationship. We follow Alabaster, who is like a 10-ring, like really powerful Orogeny, which is like a person that can control the earth, basically, cause earthquakes, stuff like that. And he is mentoring a, what they call a 4-ringer girl named Cyanite, who is basically supposed to be like learning from him and other things. She's also supposed to be reproducing with him because that is the world that we are in. If you want to know more about this book, I actually have a full series, spoiler-free, should you read it, review, so definitely go check that out. It's one of my favorite series of all time, so I do recommend that you pick this book up. But it does have this really amazing mentor-mentee relationship that I think is just so well done and kind of goes throughout all 3 books, and it's so good. I also really love the like mentor-mentee relationship in the Mistborn series, specifically Kelsier and Ven. They are just a really cool dynamic. It is very like father-child-esque in the way that he looks at her and the way that he wants to take care of her and train her and teach her everything. He really does like look at her like his child. And I absolutely love their relationship because they are both super flawed characters. They are definitely at odds part of the time. They don't always see eye to eye. But he really does care about her, and she really does care about him. And it's just a really good relationship, I think, shown in this book. All right, and the last book that I think you should read if you really like that mentor-mentee relationship trope is The Happy War by R.F. Kuang. Specifically this one, we get a lot of the like training and intros to the world. So we get to see Ren and her budding relationship with Jiang, who is one of the professors at the school that she ends up going to, and how she trains from him and learns from him. And just, he is the epitome of the super aloof, older, like, does this dude even actually know anything? And then, oh my gosh, holy crap, like, where did that come from? Like, he is the epitome of that specifically. That, like, he's weird and silly and I don't understand what's going on. Like, there's no way he's oh, okay, I get it now. Like, it's just really cool. And their relationship is so complex, especially throughout the series. And I really like how it's portrayed. And then it carries on into the third book when we learn a few more things and we get to see more of them. And I don't want to spoil anything for the third book, but yes, that mentor-mentee relationship is very powerful and very important throughout the entire series. All right, so hopefully you enjoyed that. These are the books that I really think that you should read if you like that mentor-mentee relationship trope in your books. All right, well, my name is Jessie. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I will see you next time. Bye.